To get the rest of the players out here today. You know, they did a nice job in the walkthrough as far as paying attention and staying on point. I pulled the team up today and told them after a lot of thought and talking to people and a lot of different things, I've decided to make Clancy Barone and Andrew Janoko co-offensive line coaches. Clancy coached the Denver Broncos offensive line when they won the Super Bowl. Andrew is a great young coach, and he was Tony's right-hand man, knows everything about that Tony did. And then Todd Downing, who was the offensive coordinator with the Raiders, is going to coach the tight ends. So I feel really good about it. These guys are experienced in the things that they're doing, and I think that was the best way to go. So, questions? Not necessarily. You know, everything happened so fast that I had to kind of move things around a little bit. I knew Clancy had coached the offensive line before. He was coaching the tight end, so it's a pretty close proximity there. But not, I'm always evaluating, but that really wasn't the case. Well, it was important. We've for the last 2 years we've worked really hard on the footwork and techniques and the schemes that we were running. So I felt like it was important that we continue to do that regardless of whatever we decided to do. I didn't want to change the players' terminology or footwork or any of that stuff. No, Todd Downing. Yeah, I think it's going to work out great. We're supposed to have a full house out here today for the fans, so I think it'd be great for them. We're able to bring some of these youth groups in here like this, and then for the players, it's a 2-minute drive to the hotel, and they're in the same place. We've got the same. The training room is outstanding, so we can get everything that we need to do rehab-wise here. The weight room is, so. I think in the long run it's going to work out great. I don't think so. The drive, maybe. Mankato was great. They were outstanding hosts. But you go down there for 2.5 weeks, and back in the days when you go for 5 weeks or 6 weeks, it was probably a little bit different. As far as the creating a team atmosphere and thing, we get that pretty much here in this locker room, and these guys have been around each other a long time now. Yeah, obviously they all feel bad for Tony. They all loved him, but they understand that we have to move forward. We have to go on, and really these guys are professionals. They understand that things happen. This isn't the first time that something's happened to us here, so we're used to overcoming adversity, and that's what we're going to continue to do. There was a lot of factors, but that was part of it as well. I know these guys have been around these guys for the most part for a while, and so that was part of it. But it wasn't. If I felt like there was a better option and it was outside, then I would have done it. Not so much me. Rob Brzezinski is the one that handles all that stuff, and Rick, and they tell me, we might. At some point we might have to worry about it, but right now we're just trying to get the best 53 guys that we can, and we'll worry about the contracts and all that other stuff later. But I think it's important that, we don't go into this thinking, okay, well, we got a big contract here, we got to keep a young guy, or, let's keep the best 53 and let's let them figure it all out. I think he's an extremely smart guy. Obviously, he's got great genes. Um, you know, I just think that Terrence understands, and probably the other thing that helps a little bit is since the CBA has changed with 2 days and all that kind of thing, I think that's probably helped a little bit too. Some of the not pads every day and tackling and hitting and things like that. I would never say that. Although I was going to talk about the league. No, I can't. I'll get in trouble already. Hagen's looking at me like.
Mike, I know it's tough to compare one year to another, but just walking out for the first time with your full squad, what are your impressions of just the team you've got here?
Well, I like this team a lot. Today, obviously the first day, so they can't make me too mad the first day. They came out here and they approached things like professionals, like business guys coming out here. They still had fun, but they were focused on what they did. And if the spring carries over from what they did in the spring to where we're hoping to continue to go, I think this will be a good football team. We're going to have to play good, and we're going to have to, eliminate the things that get you beat and all that. But I feel good about where we are on day one of no pads. How's that?
With so much talent in this man roster right now, there are going to be a lot of tough decisions to get it down to 53. Are there any positions you're looking at early as this first day as really tough competition to make the final roster?
I don't know. I think we have a lot of depth, a lot of positions. I think you can go down the roster and off the top of my head, I think the defensive line has a lot of talent there. I'd have to think about that a little bit more. I don't really look at those kind of things right now. I'm just trying to evaluate them every day, and as we get into more of the camp and more of the grind, and we'll sit down. We always evaluate on the players' day off. Coaches and Rick and the scouts, we all get in and we evaluate what we've seen during that week, and so then we'll start maybe doing a little bit more pecking order. But right now it's just let's just try and get them, each one of them, to be the best player they can be right now. Yeah. I don't think it's their job to try to keep the expectations down. I think it's their job to come out here and perform well enough so that we exceed expectations. It's probably my job to, talk about how bad we're going to be as opposed to, them. But, I think, having good players and having high expectations is a good thing. It's bad for coaches, but it's good for fans and everybody else. Flip had a history with him. He's an offensive coordinator. He'd been coached quarterbacks before. And guys have been through the war. I think always have. They're not afraid to voice their opinion, or they come in here and they'll give ideas and they'll go to work. And Todd's a great young coach. He's very respectful. He understands really where he's at and what he's trying to do and trying to help us win.
Like Adam Thielen said during the spring that even after coming out of the Pro Bowl, he's got a lot of things to work on. Is that something that makes you seem so good and you're never satisfied with anything? And then what are your expectations of him maybe being?
Well, Adam's really not any different than any one of our other football players. I think if you went in the locker room now and you asked Anthony Barr, you asked Eric Kendricks or Everson Griffin if they need to get better, they're all going to say the same thing. No different than us as coaches and them as players. I think Adam can accomplish anything that he wants to do. So, he's a great competitor and works extremely hard. And so, the better year they have, the better year I have. You know, it was the whole thing. I mean, there were so many things, but you know, when Jeanette Sperano was talking, I thought she was unbelievable. The strength that she had and the message that she had to the team was outstanding. You know, when my wife passed away, I couldn't do it that good. I was not near as good as she was. So it was a credit to her. You know, and I appreciate our football team. You know, going. I didn't tell them they had to go or anything like that. It was all up to them. But I appreciate their loyalty to Tony and to the Sperano family. You know, we have a good bunch of guys, and it was important that we showed him respect. Excuse me? Yeah, well, he's asserted himself a lot more. You know, now that he feels more comfortable, I think, you know, I've had some good conversations with him, and you know, he's asked me what do you want from me? You know, and we talked about a lot of different things. So, you know, Kirk is a guy that's going to buy in and try and help, and you know, I think he just wants to win. You know, so we're trying to help him do that.
Right, the stricter rules this year about lowering the helmet and the attack. Do you anticipate any challenges with that?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of challenges with it. You know, when I'm going through tape right now and I look and, you know, from past games or plays, and I'm like, I think that might be I think that's going to be a penalty now. You know, and or I wonder if that one's going to be a penalty. So, you know, I think it's going to take, you know, some of the preseason for it to clean up a little bit, so where everybody, you know, I think they kind of understand, you know, what they're going to call, but you know, talking to officials and things like that, it's going to be tough at first.
Change the way that you instruct?
Well, yeah, a little bit. We'll have to. You know, and I think it's going to happen way more in the, you know, secondary and things like that, or open field situations probably than anything. But because that's where I notice the most on tape. But yeah, we'll definitely have to talk about that.
Time for two more.
Did the NFL issue those training tapes for each position? Are you incorporating any like drills or anything that they suggested at the level?
Each position?
Yeah, they were supposedly going to put those together. Maybe they'll have.
I didn't see an each position tape, but I mean, I saw an overall tape. But what was the other part of the question?
Just they were going to suggest training drills. I was wondering if you're actually incorporating specific drills to try to keep passing.
You know, right now we're not, because we're not really tackling. So, but we'll communicate it on tape. You know, hey, look here, this is what happened. You know, if you tackle more with your chest, keep your head up. You know, things like that. I didn't see any. What was the thing you said? Teaching.
Suggestions, drill suggestions.
Yeah, no, I didn't get it. I don't get any drill suggestions from the league.
I'll see if I can get the memo.
I got a few suggestions for them too.
Did you see Everson today? Everson Griffin just kind of championed at the bit. I mean, he's fully healthy after missing time in the spring and hurt a little bit at the end of last year.
Yeah, I don't know if he's fully healthy or not. I don't. He's out there. He's going to go.